Good morning, a pleasant good morning to everybody. Welcome to the Hotel Association's 2020 Annual General Meeting. We're coming to you live from the Best Western Belize Biltmore Plaza Hotel. My name is Kevin Jiban and I am your host today. I have been a long time volunteer for the Hotel Association. I am counting it now at probably 16 years. So I have proceeded through many of these, and this is a very unusual one without all our friends here with us. We will commence the ceremony, and this is a business annual general meeting, unlike other ones. We normally would have a crowd here with us, but times have changed. And so we are going to conduct the business of the Hotel Association virtually today. We are going to be doing the elections of a new board, and we will also be providing you with the financial updates and the marketing presentation that we normally would do. So I welcome you. I welcome the special guests who have joined us. The members of the board of directors are here, and we have some virtually as well logging in from home. At this moment, I would like to call on the new marketing and membership coordinator from the Belize Hotel Association, Miss Andrea Reno, as she presents us the welcome. Andrea.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Mr. Jaban. Yes, my name is Andrea Reno, and I am the new Marketing and Membership Coordinator for the Belize Hotel Association. And it is my utmost pleasure to welcome you all to our first ever virtual annual general meeting. Welcome, Board of Directors, esteemed BHA members, industry partners, members of the media, and everyone watching us via the digital platforms we have employed here today. This year's AGM is an extraordinary event, as it is a prime example of how we as an association and further an industry have had to find ways to adapt to these new and challenging times. Today, we showcase our passionate efforts to our membership and audience proudly. Thank you for your attendance and for your attention. Not even ETA could stop us from having this AGM today. In the spirit of resilience and creativity, we strive ahead. So now I will call on our board director, Ms. Roani Badeo, to assist us with the national anthem and prayer. Thank you.
Good morning. I would like to ask the board of directors in the room to stand for the national anthem, please. And now I'd like to ask for you all to bow your heads in prayer. Almighty and eternal God, who through Jesus Christ has revealed your glory to all nations, please protect and preserve Belize, our beloved country. God of might, wisdom, and justice, please assist our Belizean government and people with your Holy Spirit of counsel and fortitude. Let your light of your divine wisdom direct their plans and endeavors so that with your help, we may attain our just objectives. With your guidance, may all our endeavors tend to peace, social justice, liberty, national happiness, the increase of industry, sobriety, and useful knowledge. We pray, O God of mercy, for all of us, that we may be blessed in the knowledge and sacrificed in the observance of your most holy law, that we may be preserved in union and in peace, which the world itself cannot give. And after enjoying the blessings of this life, please admit us, dear Lord, to the eternal reward that you have prepared for those who love you. Amen. I now pass you over to our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Director Rouhani. We move the ceremonies along, and at this time, it gives me pleasure to introduce the Board of Directors present of the Belize Hotel Association. Joining us virtually, not here with us today physically, is the immediate past president, Lisa Carr Caceres. She's all the way at Banana Bank. Hi, Lisa. Directors, Alina Saldiva. Give a wave, Alina. There she is. Director Rouhani Padillo, Tropic. Alina is from Island Magic. Sherry Constantino, E-Data. Neosoft, right? Doug Thompson, Director, Black Orchid Resorts. Sandra Van Nord is virtually with us, San Pedro Portofino. Barry Snowden is virtually with us as well from Los Porticos in Placencia. And the executive members of the board are Secretary Stephanie Elena, San Ignacio Resort Hotel. The treasurer of the board is Mr. Rudy Gonzalez from Atlantic Bank, and he's here with us today. The second VP is Anushka Brandel from Kana in Cayo. She is with us virtually. The vice president is Barbara Hall, and she is from Nirvana in Placencia. She is with us virtually as well. And finally, the president, el presidente, el matador, todo, the chairman of the board, totalmente. I present to you Ted Tejada, who you have been seeing quite a lot on TV, Facebook. You've even seen him on radio, if you can do that, right? So Ted is the GM of the Biltmore and has been president for the Hotel Association now for 3 years. And so it is my absolute pleasure to call him to the podium while he presents to you his president's address. Senor Tejada.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Let me raise the mic a little bit from where Kevin left it. Thank you very much for that kind words that you have. Really, you are an asset to BHA, not to just only to BHA, but to the country as a whole. So thank you once again. Good morning, members. Good morning, Board of Directors present, our Board of Directors that could not make it because of the storm, friends of the BHA. I would like to as well see if my staff is ready with the presentation. With the protocols already established and social distance already applied, I would like to proceed with my presentation. Firstly, I would like to apologize to our members for not being able to hold the AGM as it was scheduled earlier in the year, July 3rd. But the articles of the association stated that we had up to 3 months after in order for us to hold the AGM. So, hell or high water, the board of directors made a conscious decision that today we had to host the AGM. As the world faces an unprecedented global health crisis, the tourism sector is undergoing a period of prolonged hardship of apocalyptic proportions called COVID-19. COVID-19 will fundamentally alter the global travel landscape. The coronavirus pandemic is affecting destinations in different ways and in varying levels of severity. In the Caribbean region, where nations are heavily reliant to tourism revenue, the crisis had a much deeper impact. Belize is one such nation. The stakes are particularly high in Belize, as the vast majority of the businesses that make up tourism industry are small, 5 rooms, medium, 40 rooms, hotels. These hotels comprise of 82% of our global room stock in Belize. While this is unique, charming aspect of our destination, small businesses may not be positioned to weather or sustain the economic downturn brought by this pandemic. As a matter of fact, I am aware of 3 of our hotel member hotels that have closed their doors for good. The national statistics of Belize commends that tourism produces 46% of the global GDP for the country of Belize. At the AGM held last year, December 3rd, we reported that tourism numbers were up by double digits. As a matter of fact, Belize as a country exceeded the numbers of overnight tourism by 2.8 in 2019 versus 2008. That is a significant growth of over 14,000 overnight tourisms who visited our shores. The Belize Hotel Association takes great pride in stating that we, as an association, had to do much in bringing these numbers to our country. No one could have ever imagined that we would be in the position we are presently in. Knowing that we were on the right track, the Belize Hotel Association was embarked on heavily marketing on the start of the year, especially you, our members. On February 22nd, I was scheduled to travel to Italy and represent our members at the BI Latin America International Trade Show. That evening, I got a phone call. We have a contact and a member that works in the Netherlands. He called me and said, "Ted, we have a situation. Lombardy had woke up with 14 cases that day, and it was not the time to travel." We said, let's wait within 24 hours to see what happens. The following day, there were 71 cases reported in Lombardy. At that point, the shilling dropped in my stomach. I knew that the virus was spreading, and it was spreading faster than anticipated. The Hotel Association immediately got in contact with the Belize Chamber of Commerce, informing of the fast approaching tsunami, and it was imminent to start advising our stakeholders. On March 18th, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and the Belize Hotel Association held a meeting at the Central Bank of Belize, where the bank presented to us that the country was ready to weather the storm if the storm lasted 3 months. We know now that the storm had lasted for 9 months and keeps counting. On March 15th, the Belize Hotel Association was the first to ring the bell and ring it loudly. We got in touch with the government of Belize, especially the labor minister, requesting that special attention be given to the staff that work in the tourism sector. The Minister of Labor, Ms. Carla Barnett, and Mr. Chris Coy met with the Belize Hotel Association. And they were asking us to provide them figures as to how many employees would have been affected. Immediately, we found a partner, and thank you to Atlantic Bank. I would publicly want to thank Atlantic Bank, who came on board. We hired 12 individuals, and we called the 936 registered hotels in Belize to find out their position, if they were closing their doors. And we found out that over 20,000 hotel or tourism employees would have immediately been affected because of this pandemic. In April, the Belize Hotel Association joined hands with the rest of the world and told our guests, please stay at home while we try to figure out what was happening with this virus. On June, the Belize Hotel Association understood that in the next year, November 2021, we will still be speaking about COVID-19 because the virus is here to stay. We got a resounding mandate. 98% of our members voted that we needed to lobby to open the international airport. Not only did we approach the government of Belize and lobbied heavily to open the international airport, but the Belize Hotel Association was the first institution who started and produced safety protocols how to open and operate your hotel during the COVID era. The PM announced on the 25th of June that the airport would be open on August 15th. Unfortunately, we know what happened with the second wave. And unfortunately, the airport was delayed to reschedule to open until October 1st. I will not deliberate and bore you down with what we did after, but I want to share some information that may be very vital for you. Actually, this year's theme of our conference was labeled, Data is My New Currency. And with that in mind, I want to share some data that we have gathered during this pandemic that might be very useful for you. So I want to also thank Expedia, who has provided some data to us of what is happening in the market. Prior to the pandemic, if you look at our destination most visited in Belize, San Pedro, rooms and reservations were being booked 3 months in advance. That was the booking pace. Expedia is telling us that that is not really happening anymore. Reservations are being booked between 0 to 20 days. That travelers are reacting for next week. They don't know what's going to happen within 3 months. So the booking pace at this moment is between 0 to 20 days. When looking at the US travelers who are booking, at this moment, a high percentage is looking for local tours. They're not planning to get on the plane to travel abroad. But when we look at the biggest markets, which is the United States, Canada, and we look at what countries or destinations they're looking at, look at the United States. They're looking at the United States, They're looking at Mexico, Puerto Rico, Canada. Why is Belize not there? Here is where we're urging not only the Belize Hotel Association, but Belize Tourism Board, that with the little tourism that is traveling right now, we need to position ourselves, especially for the United States and Canada, in the top 5 countries for places to visit. When we're looking in the US, it says that only 24% of the travelers are looking at traveling internationally. 62% of the Americans are looking at traveling locally. Not only that, 62% are going to be doing a trip via road. So where does it put us as a country that you must get on the plane to come to Belize? It does put us at a disadvantage at this present moment. Now, if we know that only 24% of them are planning to go internationally, we need to understand, why are they going to travel internationally? What are they looking? The number one is they're traveling and being with family. The second one is friends and relatives. When you look at romantic trips, only 15% of those 24% are looking for a romantic trip at this moment, and 14% of them are looking at relaxing. That tells me that if you have a condo in Placencia, if you have a condo in Kikaker or San Pedro, that is conducive for families, this is a package that you should market. This is an advantage that you should take immediately and develop, and not only develop it, promote it heavily, because this is what the 24% of the travelers are looking for. When we look at the items that travelers are looking for, prior to the pandemic, I could tell you it was security. They wanted to find out if you had a secured hotel, a secured destination. At this moment, 87% of the travelers are looking at health and hygiene. How safe, how clean is your property? There is where the protocols, the gold standard protocols comes in. Let me tell you, last Friday when I did my research, out of 932 hotels that are registered in the country of Belize, only 256 hotels had actually been certified as a gold standard hotel. That is only 27% of our hotels have been able to do so. It puts me to wonder, is there something that you need help with? Please contact the Belize Hotel Association, who are here to help you get your certification. Remember, that is the number one item that people are looking for. 70% are looking for a deal. Not only 24% are traveling, but they're also looking for a deal. What deal are you offering? Why don't you take out, buy 3 night, get the 4 free? Put it out there on the OTAs. 60% are looking for an off-beaten path. So these are very interesting information that you needed to know. We'll look at Google to see what customers were doing. And from April to September, the highest searches on the internet were dreaming trips. People were just dreaming of destinations. We start to see that July to September, there's a little bit of buying happening. It's a gradual growth that will take place. We look at Belize. Since 2018-19, and overnight tourism was an average of 45,000 tourists per month. Let's look at April, May, and June for this year, where only Belizeans were allowed to travel in the country of Belize. Look at the numbers. Belize had an average of 300 rooms sold in the country. Remember, we have over 9,000 rooms. That represents 1% of rooms sold at 50% the value that hotels were giving for local travelers. We do encourage all our hotels to continue offering the Belizean traveling and encouraging our Belizeans to be our ambassadors. Also, we look at the guests choosing to travel to Belize. Belize has two seasons. We have the winter and the summer season. If you look at both seasons over the last 7 years, the winter season is showing a growth of 8.6. Summer has had a decrease of -1 year over year. That means that the right time to sell tourism is during the winter. So if there is some type of mitigation that is gotten against the virus, this would be the right time for us to sell. We're also looking, when we look at who is traveling to Belize, we need to spend our marketing dollar wisely. We do not have a lot of money at this moment. The #1 market for us is the United States. When we look at the graph, I know that Belize as a country has invested a lot of money in Europe, but the return on investment has been very minimal. We know that due to no direct flights from Europe to Belize might be the largest cause why we have not been able to benefit from all the investment that has taken place in Europe. An important point to make is that as of 2019, Belize as a country has made very little investment in Canada. But Canada represents 7% of the total overnight arrivals. And I personally believe that if more money was invested in Canada, and if we had a direct flight from Canada year-round, not seasonal, we would all be benefiting from it. Let's look at the United States. It represents 64% of the total sales for this country up to date. When was the most month that they chose to visit Belize? It was the month of March. We knowing that data, being that we are in November, hoping that something will happen within the latter part of this year, we're hoping that there is going to be some type of recovery in March, because that's the time that Americans choose to come most to Belize. And let me get this opportunity to thank the Belize Tourism Board, who has provided all the statistics on the Belize Digest. You can also download it for yourself. We'll look at which is the most productive country in Europe. And the Europeans choose to travel in February to Belize. And the most productive country in Europe is England, which we believe is the perfect fit for us. So for me, if there was to be a direct flight from Europe to Belize, I think England would be the best country to be able to develop that. One of the markets that I believe is a perfect match for Belize is Canada. They chose to come February and March. To me, this is a market we as a country need to inject marketing money, marketing dollars, and encourage more direct flights. Unfortunately, due to the quarantines that Canada has imposed on its citizens, that all Canadians visiting outside of Canada must quarantine in Canada for 14 days. At this moment, we do not have a direct flight. We're hoping that they will come on board in December. I am sure that all of you are asking how many persons actually came to the country of Belize since October 1st. I will be providing you this information, but I wanted to tell you that since October 1st to October 25th, we had 3,159 arrivals to Belize. When we take that number and look how many were Belizeans returning, we have 1,147 arriving to Belize. There were only 2,012 tourists who visited our shores within 25 days. If you take 2012 and divide it by 25 days, you have an average of 80 tourists coming to our shores in October. If you divide 80 by 2, because 2 persons per room, you're ending up with 40 rooms being sold per day. Remember, we have 9,000 rooms to sell. So if your hotel performed pretty poorly in October, you are not alone. We all did. This is going to be a very slow start. And we said it from the very beginning. We did not expect a rush to the country of Belize. We consulted with Google and looked at how many searches was Belize as a country getting during these months. Belize is trending at less than 5,000 searches per day. This time last year, we had closer to 20,000 searches. That shows that the demand for our destination is low. If you have a business, if you have a shop, and people are walking in, looking at the shelves, even though if they're not buying, but they're looking at products, it means that they're interested in something. They just haven't found the product that they need, and eventually they will buy. But if you have a shop and nobody's walking into your shop, you better start worrying. And Belize at this moment, we only have, as you can see it, the spikes in December. There's a very small spike. It's not showing much significant at this moment. But bear in mind that previously I said that people were traveling between 0 to 20 days. So this is our opportunity for our country, the Belize Tourism Board, to start injecting money into advertising. We also look at the buying last year on Expedia, which is one of our largest platforms that sells tourism for Belize. We can also see October was a very flat month. You look at December 2nd to the 16th. That last year, look at the huge spike we had. Actually, people were calling and asking, where can I get a room? There were no rooms available in Belize. We are nowhere near the amount of availability we have right now for December 2nd to the 16th is massive. We need to keep these numbers in sight. I also want to look, and you might be saying, maybe we don't have the airfare. I look at this chart in 2016. In 2016, November, we had 407 airlines coming to Belize. That's the amount of flights per month. In 2017, we had 362. In 2018, we had 399. That's November. When we look at 2020, Belize as a country, we only have 73 program flights coming in to our country this month. Let's look at December, next month. Next month, December 2016, we had 464. 2017, 423. 2018, 486. 2020, we only have 219. You can see a gradual addition of flights coming in. But let me caution you that at this moment, that is what the airlines are adding to us. We as hoteliers also have to stimulate the sales because the airline cannot sell a seat by itself. So if we are outpricing ourselves out of the competition, if we are not delivering deals, eventually, if there is no demand on the airlines, they will also remove flights. I even went farther in looking in January 2006, we had 488 flights. 2017, we had 467. 2018 and 19, we had around 500 flights. When I look at 2020, we have 299 flights already added to our system. So that's the largest amount of flights so far added for our growth. So you can expect that in December, the availability of seats are there. I would like to take this moment to tell you that the Belize Hotel Association knows your pain. We've been witnessing, we're part of it. But let me tell you that the Belize Hotel Association is your partner in this recovery time. We ask that you tap into the Belize Hotel Association now to see how can we help you market your hotel. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank the members, the board of directors, my wife, who have allowed me to be your president during these last 3 years. I am convinced that tourism will be back. It's just a matter of time and how we as a country react and inject marketing dollars. So from the bottom of my heart, I take this opportunity to say thank you all.
Round of applause, please. Virtual round of applause all over the country, all over the world. Round of applause for the president. Thank you so much, Mr. President. It's always a pleasure to hear your words and all of the statistics and the course. This is a lovely free course in marketing and statistics, etc. So President Tejada spoke about the strategies, the marketing strategies that the Hotel Association was about to embark on, especially in the first quarter, and how things changed drastically, and how the association actually made a proactive approach and reached out not only to the membership, but went on and looked at all hotels in the country and realized that 20,000 of our people were going to be impacted. And again, I like the saying that he said, the motto that he said, data is the new currency. And the focus and the concentration on consumer behavior. He said one thing that I'm sure primary school students who are tuning in at home probably are going, what? When he says Belize has 2 seasons, winter and summer. And they're like, what? Teacher tell we it's dry and rainy. But please understand, students, he's talking about tourism seasons, okay? So that's what he meant there. So for you in tourism, those are the 2 segmentation that you concentrate on when it comes to the psychographics. So we'll move on now because this is a membership organization, and thus what we're doing here is reporting to the membership, and part of that reporting structure calls for us to inform you and tell you what has been the financial performance for the association, your association, over the last fiscal period. And to do that, I am going to call to the podium the treasurer, Mr. Rudy Gonzalez.
Morning, everyone. Having protocol already established, we would like to present the financials for the year ending June 30th, 2019, audited by the HLB Belize auditing firm. The annual audit was done in 2019 by the HLB Belize auditing firm. They conducted the audit in September 2019. And they issued a fair opinion on all material aspects. The board of directors approved the financials, as you can see in the signatures there of the board members. And we present the balance sheet of the Belize Hotel Association. The assets, total current assets for the year 2019, $193,802. A comparison for the 2018 was $182,664. As you can see, the major differences are cash at banks at balances, accounts receivables, and the prepayments.
liabilities was deferred income. We would like to thank again our members. The deferred income is the prepayments that members usually pay in advance before the end of every fiscal year. And then the 66,000, which is the larger portion, is also the accounts payable. And the total fund ended with 5,674 deficit. We continue with the revenue part. The total revenue collected for 2019 was 507,238 in comparison to 1,538. A difference there was that in 2018 we had some projects, and in 2019 we did not have any of those such projects. The income is split into two major sectors. One of the main sectors is the revenue collected from membership, and the second one is the collaboration that we have with the BTB, that they sponsor us. We have a marketing MOU with them. And the expenditures, the total expenditure was 555,232. The two major areas, as you can see, most of the income is back invested into what we call global marketing. We do marketing of all the members, both locally and abroad. The other one is the administrative expenses, which is 232,000, and ended at deficit of 47,994 for that fiscal year 2019. The assets for 2019, it just shows you in that screen there that the cash at banks 108,000, the inventory receivable 79,000, and the fixed assets 11,236, and other assets 9,676, for total assets of $214,716. The liabilities also, it just shows you the deferred income, which is the income, the prepayments from the members. The other current assets 66,000, and the total liabilities sum up to $214,716. The statement of changes in fund balance. Balance as of June 30th, 2017 was $71,631, and the deficit for that fiscal year was $29,311. The balance as of June 30th, 2018, it ended up with 42,320 in positive, and the deficit for that fiscal year was 47,994. The balance as of June 30th, 2019 was $5,674. The mandate from our board for 2019 was to reduce the deficit as much as possible, and as can see, it has been reduced to 5,000 change. And the mandate for the fiscal year 2020 is for us to finish in positive. Just to end, we would like to show the current balances that we have as of October 9th. We have $113,933.30 in the fund. I would like to end by saying that the success of the BHA is based on the membership. So the more members we have, the successful of both the marketing and also the success of the fund. So we'd like to just say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Good job. It shows that BHA is in a strong financial position with plus 100,000 in liquidity, almost liquidity, if you want to use that term. So again, we thank the membership because again, this is a membership group. And so please pay your dues, and try to recruit your fellow hoteliers to join the association as well. I will move on to the marketing update. As our president currently is dealing with the media, and I will ask for the marketing manager, Miss Simone Biles, no, Simone Bell, not Biles, to join us as she gives us all the information as it related to the marketing activities held by the Hotel Association during the last fiscal period. Ms. Simone Biles. Bell.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for that introduction, Mr. Jaban. If I had money for the amount of times I heard that, I could have funded the entire tourism marketing program. But it's an honor to be recognized with greatness. And that is a theme that continues to run throughout the BHA. We acknowledge that this year has been a challenging one. I will not say terrible, because there's a spirit of continuity and resilience that echoes throughout the Belizean public. We've seen this as we engage with our members. They've shared their stories. We know what you're going through, and we are partners, as Ted rightfully said. 2020 was poised to be a record-setting year for tourism in Belize. With overnight visitor arrivals in excess of 500,000, the BHA began to aggressively pursue its mandate of putting heads in beds. All right. This slide. Okay. Our team embarked on a series of travel trade shows. We visited New York, we visited Switzerland, we visited Denver, we advertised at the Caribbean Travel Marketplace, and we represented in the Washington Travel Trade Show in order to gain the various leads that would be necessary so that you can continue to promote your business throughout the pandemic. We were greeted on March 23rd with the news that the PGIA and all related borders would be closed. And as a result, all marketing activities came to a halt. This new scenario presented a challenge for us. No longer would we be able to travel to markets and engage with people on a personal level. New technologies would have to be employed to achieve these results. And although the state of emergency and consequent lockdown placed a small spoke in our wheel, the ideas and momentum kept churning. All right, on the screen, you'll be seeing how we used to engage. That's basically what we used to do. That's a primary benefit to all of our members. We participated in as many trade shows as possible. In the previous years, we represented at least 22 trade shows. We had a beautiful memorandum of understanding with the BTB, and they would also support and assist with the trade shows that we were participating in. Next slide. All right. As we continued, we established a task force, and our focus quickly turned to outreach and lobbying. We engaged our members to assess the impact of the new impositions, and your feedback became the driving force behind initiatives such as our tricking drive, whereby in partnership with private donors, we sought to ensure that member employees who met sudden unemployment were able to continue to have basic needs met. Our dialogue with you, our members, acted as the impetus for our strong position regarding the reopening of the airport. And as you know, our president is not a stranger to words, and his voice is not a hollow voice. And we were able to channel your voice in several instances. And here I'm going to play a very important clip, which was a defining moment for our industry.
We just don't want the airport to open. We need the policies and procedures to be put in place. We need all the mechanisms of the checking of the rapid test, the guarantees that the guests that are coming in are not infected. That we understand that. We have to work with the government with that. But we want to speed up the process and see what is the best way possible. We understand Jamaica, Aruba are countries that are opening on June 15th, as a matter of fact. So we want to study their cases and what are they doing? Why are they opening and we cannot open. So we're working with the government in the test that is required, but definitely we believe that we need to open very quickly, sometime August. Everyone is positive that tourism will come back, and it will not only come back, it will come back stronger. We need to do what is necessary to guarantee to our employees, to guarantee to the people, and to the guests that are coming in, that we are doing our very best to mitigate this virus. We do not want to have a second wave. Yes, and I believe that we as a hotel are doing everything possible. We have implemented policies and procedures. We need to do that with the archaeological sites. We need to do that with every tour that we do, the shuttles that are going to be shuttling the guests. We need to implement policies. We need to implement policies at the airport, at the borders, when people are coming in. So we need to do them as quickly as possible. Invest in whatever mechanism, facial recognitions, thermal cameras, that we can use in order to mitigate the virus.
We were very strong advocates in the lobbying for the airport opening. Although it didn't arrive on the date that we had hoped, we know that it's instrumental to the travel trade. Once our borders are open, we would be able to engage in the tourism and rebuild the markets that we once held. The pandemic created new realities for us, and business was no longer typical. We took advantage of the new norm presented by virtual trade shows. So if you see the screen right now, this is now what our travel trade shows look like. But fortunately, we are still encountering friendly faces. With a new team and a determination to put our best foot forward, we proceeded to design and execute a digital marketing strategy aimed at increasing the awareness of our member products, both locally and internationally. We focused on our website strategy and ensured that it was SEO optimized. And we embarked on an awareness campaign for our Belizean specials so we could keep Belize in the forefront of all minds. Our results are incremental, but we're continuously devoted to the effort. Our geographic market for these websites have also changed. And as Ted rightfully said, and echoed by Mr. Jaban, data is the new currency, and we are definitely in tune. At first, our website traffic was primarily local based, and we are now pleased to announce that we are receiving more visitors from the United States than any other geographic area in the world. And we will continue to drive dedicated geographic campaigns to ensure that your promotions are reached in the markets of your concern. These strategic Google campaigns, or Facebook marketing, and or retargeting are employed to place you or members in the spotlight. We have been using SEO campaigns, digital ads, and dynamic display ads to ensure that your product is out there on all platforms. And we encourage you to continue to share with us very engaging content so that we are able to place the beauty of our jewel in front of the eyes of the beholder. We continue to provide new technologies for our member base. This year, we embarked on a digital asset management system. Squirrelfish is a new technology which enables you to share your product photos with the entire travel trade market. It is literally the LinkedIn of photographs. What it does for you is solve copyright issues and allows you to place the right pictures in the right context, and you don't have to be developing several Google Dropbox. Everything is accessible to the travel trade, and you just click and share. I think this is a wonderful tool. It is here as a part of your membership. You need to take advantage of it so that you can make sure that your images are placed properly in front of the travel trade. We've also segmented our markets, and we're ensuring that our email campaigns and your email blasts and your promotions are effective and reaching the consumer that is intended. We have umpteen stories of properties reaching out to us to let us know that the post that we did on Facebook, the email blast that we sent out, resulted in tremendous sales that they were not prepared for, but were happy. So we do believe in these mechanisms. We do embrace digital technology as the new playing field for our marketing efforts, and we are very committed to delivering on your expectations. As we continue with the theme of continuity and resilience, we decided that our methods could not remain the same. Our board met in August to engineer strategies that would put us forward. And one of the first and foremost things that we decided to do is to engage members of both the opposition and the current party as we move forward throughout this pandemic. Meetings were held with Mr. Johnny Bresenio and Mr. Anthony Mahler of the People's United Party, as well as with the Right Honorable Patrick Fabro and Mr. Michael Singh from the UDP. As the BHA, our role is not only to market you, but to make sure that your interests are preserved. And as the tourism industry navigates through these challenging times, the ideas that are being proposed by our future leaders and the plans and ideas and solutions that we have in place need to be cohesive so that the industry can move forward and BHA continues to play an integral part in the marketing momentum for this country. Continuity and resilience echoes throughout everything we do. And as passionate as we are about marketing, we are also passionate about the education of our members. And for 10 years have engaged in a scholarship program. Today, I would like to thank our chairlady of the Scholarship Fund Committee, Ms. Roani Badio, who works effortlessly in order to engage our members to provide and secure financing for several people. And I'd just like to interject. The BHA Scholarship Fund is a very special fund. Once you are approved, we finance your education for the length of your program. So we do not abandon you in the process. We secure your future. And the only eligibility requirement is that you are an employee of a member property in good standing. So it is open to everyone and accessible to everyone that is a member, and is a very key benefit. So just make sure that your membership is up to date so that you can benefit next time around. I don't think I can do it justice. I think Channel 5 does a very good representation, and I'm going to allow for the recipients to share in the process. Okay. Unfortunately, technology at its best can sometimes abandon us, so we will share that at another time.
Association today awarded 5 scholarships to secondary and tertiary level students as part of its continued commitment to assist the children of its membership employees. Despite the realities of the pandemic, the education of children and the championing of the Belizean product is still of utmost importance, says BHA Director Rohani Badio. Unfortunately, this year, the Belize Tourism Board could not partner with the BHA for the program, but through its established scholarship fund, the association was able to sustain the program for this year. The funds are acquired through an auction of prizes donated by members of the association.
Our scholarship program assists students who are enrolled to any Belizean high school, sixth form, or university. Over the years, the association has held several gala events to raise funds to be able to sustain our scholarship fund. And as you may be aware, we hold both silent and live auctions at our biannual meetings and our annual general meetings. We haven't hosted this year's AGM as yet due to the COVID-19 situation. However, thanks to the generous donations of our members during our last AGM and biannual, we had raised enough for this year's awards.
This is the 10th annual scholarship program, which began back in 2009 and has supported a great number of students in achieving their educational goals. The HA President Ted Tejada says the awardees are being given the opportunity to dream big.
We need to keep making the best and most rewarding investments we can make, which is education for our future. Education is just not a tool to improve your professional prospects, but a medium through which you will expand your outlook on the world, a way to base your experiences and develop your truth.
Meet the 5 recipients.
I am from the village of Saraman, Stan Creek District. I will be attending first form at the Independence High School.
I am currently attending St. Catherine's Academy in the class 3S1. My mother is presently employed at Atlantic Bank Limited. I felt truly grateful to be able to have this opportunity. In addition, I felt accomplished and very proud of myself that I was able to meet the required criteria to be chosen. The relief that I felt was on another level.
I'm currently attending Independence Junior College, first year majoring in tourism. And this is actually my second time receiving a scholarship from Belize Hotel Association. They've actually helped me out in my senior year and they're now helping me out in my college year. Education is important to me because I want to have a successful future and I want to be able to provide for my family and myself.
I am on my third year at the University of Belize doing a bachelor's in social work. I was able to apply for the Belize Hotel Association scholarship through my dad, Guy Williams, who works at the Great House. I've been on the scholarship since my first year at St. Catherine's Academy, so this makes it 7 years now.
I'm a student at Sacred Heart College, Class 3E. My dad is employed at the Lodge of Jack Creek. I was really surprised when I was awarded with this scholarship from the Belize Hotel Association. And this is the first time that I have received a scholarship from this association. The dream I have for Belize is to become a better country, and as for me, I want to become a doctor so that I could help those people who are in need.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
It's a wonderful feeling to be a part of something that makes you proud. And as donors, we also have in fact benefited from the donations of others. Your membership continues to fund and finance all of these activities. And we have also been the recipients of a very kind donation from the Embassy of Taiwan. Ambassador Remus Lee Kwao Chen delivered on October 2nd, 4,000 masks that are with the intention of protecting the health and safety of all hospital workers. This in turn, all hotel workers, my apologies. This in turn was then distributed to our membership to ensure the health and safety of all. We continue to advocate, and we like to commend our Vice President, Ms. Barbara Hall, who has sat on the Sargassum Task Force and has been a key player, along with the Ministry of Tourism and the Placencia and Kikaka Village Councils, in developing solutions for the problems that are faced by our hoteliers who have had to combat the Battle of Sargassum, which has been affecting our beaches year-round. We are now pleased to announce that the task force has handed over to both the Placencia and the Kikaka Village Council an automatic beach rake, which is there to ensure the preservation of our beaches and the viability of our product. As we continue to focus on driving international customers and placing heads in beds, one of the key projects that our board has come up with is the very first online travel auction. The focus of the auction is to increase the awareness of our member properties and Belize in general. And we are very grateful to our donors who came on board when we tried to convince them that various means and new technologies were needed to advocate the cause of Belize in the global market. I would like to thank our donors and just play a short reel of the properties who have participated in this cause. That music made me feel so good, made me forget all of my woes. As dancing is a good thing that I wasn't on the screen because I'm not a very good dancer. All right. The BHA continues to deliver on your expectations, and we continue to host our webinars, which are aimed at educating and informing all of our members. And we're very thankful to our donors and our sponsors who have allowed us to make sure that this is accessible to all participants in the tourism sector. We held 3 recent webinars, of which we garnered over 1,000 participants. And your messages, your interests, your focus were the topics of this discussion. We held sessions on risk management and planning. We delved into the MSME program that was implemented by Beltrade. We had the BTB come on as special guests to advise of the importance of the gold standard certification program and to explain the process, as we understood that some of you were still very unclear. And while we continue to ensure that each property adheres to the safety standards embarked upon by the government, we also wanted to make sure that you were aware when marketing to your customers that not only do we have safe properties, but we also provide safe transportation. So we have a full product that is accessible and safe for all. And you guys can continue to market that. We have one of the most excellent safety programs in the region. And I'd like to commend the BTB at this time for all the efforts that they've taken to ensure the safety of both our citizens and our arriving passengers. It is not it's not an easy task. Or we continue with delivering on your value. And we are pleased to announce today that our hotel guide is now digital. We will be launching on December 1st, and we are proud to announce that not only is it inclusive of very entertaining articles, but the features have been enhanced, and we are now able to hyperlink all of your advertisements to your page so you can qualify the leads that you will be given by the BHA. We have also ensured that each hotel member, instead of the half page that was offered previously, will now have a full page advertisement to showcase all the wonders of their property. In the past, the hotel guide used to be the momentum for our product offering. But this year, we've gone a step further. And we are pleased to announce that the BHA is now the proud owner of its own national channel, a channel which will be played in every single hotel room so that you can showcase all of the beauty of Belize. You can provide content geared at enhancing your sales. And you can employ mechanisms to showcase particular aspects of your property. So in case you want to see Ted cooking at the Biltmore, you can just tune into our channel because we'll have content like that. And we'd like to just share with you a brief video of the content that will be available on offer.
The Belize Hotel Association is the oldest non-profit, non-governmental, private sector tourism organization in the country. The BHA's mission and vision is to encourage and support the sustainable growth of its members through lobbying efforts, international and national linkages, training opportunities, and marketing initiatives. This year, we're holding our first virtual annual general meeting, and I would like to introduce our president, Mr. Ted Tejada.
Thank you very much for that introduction. And we want to welcome all our visitors through this medium so they can get to see our beautiful country. Belize is a very small country in Central America, but rich in natural resources. Actually, I remember as a kid, the first time I ever went to the Barrier Reef, being and snorkeling with those beautiful fishes, stingrays, sharks. I was in a wonderful world that I had never seen before. That stuck in my mind. I was about 10 years old. I still remember and I still enjoy going to the Barrier Reef. That is my sanctuary. Every time I'm stressed, I go to snorkel with the sharks, stingrays, and I invite everyone to try that. In 2013, I decided to come back to Belize after living for 6 years abroad. What made me come back to my country is that I knew that Belize had many to offer. Our natural beauty, our ancient Mayan temples that we have. And that is why I knew that I had to come back to Belize, because I wanted to share what Belize has to the international world. Its people is one of the wonderful, I would say, assets that we have. Our number one assets. It's a diversity. We have over 20 different cultures that live in the country of Belize. It's a melting pot. So as an organization, what we have done during our research, we realized that you can take $1 million and throw it into, let's say, Mexico as a country. But during our research, we found out that 75% of our business, our tourists, comes from the United States. In doing that, you can also look at the United States and say, oh, but we have 328 million people living there. We had to pinpoint out of the United States, which are the states or the cities that people are interested to come to Belize. And now digitally, breaking it down and investing in those states or those cities in order to stimulate more travel to the country of Belize. Because it's best that you take the limited money that you have over this past period that most of the business has been closed and invested where your returns will be greater. Over the last 4 years, I have been given the opportunity to serve you as the president of the Belize Hotel Association, and I can say I am humbled and honored to have been given that opportunity. My job has been to be able to foster the growth of tourism in Belize, which is my country, and I'm proud of being a Belizean. Moving forward, we know that we have stabilized many of the platforms that are necessary to make tourism the #1 product in Belize. My goal has always been that we as a country are able to become the #1 touristic place in the world. One of the surprises that we have for 2021 is that the Belize Hotel Association as an organization has been granted a national channel. It is important, being that tourism contributes over 45% of the national GDP of this country of Belize, that tourism has a platform to display our products. We are lucky to be that entity. The Belize Hotel Association is going to be having its own channel that will feature everything about tourism. With this in mind, I believe this is one of the most important aspects that, as the president, I have been able to accomplish during the last 4 years, and I'm happy that this is something that will be utilized for the growth of the country of Belize. I would like to encourage any entity that has to do with tourism to join forces with the Belize Hotel Association. I believe that united we stand, divided we fall. So at this moment, after a pandemic where all of us have suffered, at this point in time, we need to unite our marketing dollars together and put it in platforms that work. The Belize Hotel Association has tested these platforms. We know what works, and we will going to be investing in these platforms. So I believe that anyone out there that needs marketing, join the Belize Hotel Association, and let's be partners in making this a reality. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the board of directors, the employees of the association, and myself to thank all the members who have made a sacrifice this year to continue supporting the Belize Hotel Association. We know you're going through tough times, but that is why we are here to serve you. Once again, thank you. Also, I take this opportunity to thank all our partners. During this time of the pandemic, they joined hands with us, provided chicken for our employees, wage subsidies, and many other things that they were able to contribute to our members. Thank you once again. Please continue being partners with the Belize Hotel Association. We have a long way to go, but together we will get there.
I'm really excited to be a part of the BHA team. My mom's Belizean, and I grew up everything Belize. The food, the culture, the environment, they're all so much a part of me, and I'm really glad for the opportunity to sell. I also like working with people. I love working with people, and I have had the opportunity to become acquainted with very many members and have heard their stories, and I'm very sincere in trying to meet their needs.
Hi, my name is Naomi Ashby, and I am the administrator at the Belize Hotel Association. As the administrator, I look forward to remaining consistent in my efficiency, my effectiveness, and my passion, which is key to the operations of a blossoming association.
Hi, my name is Andrea Renault, and I'm the new membership and marketing coordinator for the Belize Hotel Association. And I'm not only grateful for the opportunity of working with such talented people within our office, but to also be part of this community that sure has seen its challenges this year, but that definitely will persevere with shared community and a shared goal moving forward.
The sentiments of shared goals and community will continue to persevere throughout the Belize Hotel Association. With that, I'd like to thank you for listening to our presentation on the marketing update, and would just like to echo the sentiments of our president. We know Belize, we are Belize, and we are here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. People from all around the world give her a big worldly round of applause. Shh, I can hear it, Simone. That was very informative. It was detailed, and I hope as members you are seeing the fruits of what the membership dues are providing you. It is indicating that the Hotel Association is not only reactive but also proactive, and so we look forward to the launch of the Hotel Guide next month, and we wish for brighter days. At this time, I'm going to call President Tejada briefly. I mentioned to you before that I have been serving many presidents of the Hotel Association. Right now, it is President Tejada. Before him, it was Lisa Carr Caceres. Before her, it was Doug Thompson. Before him, it was Kenrick Tios. Before Kenrick, it was Mariam Robertson, and that's where I started. From back then, we have been realizing that the Articles of Association, that is the Constitution, has been an old one since inception, and there have been a couple revision, and over the last couple of months, 16, 18 months, this present board decided to tackle it. And so we sent out to you a revised Article of Association for non-objection, and we didn't receive. And so I would like to call Ted, as he is going to formally present it at the annual general meeting, where it is going to be ratified. So President is going to just speak briefly about the process, and with his executive powers, will then do the endorsement. President.
Thank you, Kevin. And definitely, over the last 2 years or 3 years, we have been looking at the Articles of Association, and many of the items that there, including fax machines, in living in this age, especially post-COVID, where we needed digital technology. Nothing was included in the Articles of Association. So over the last 18 months, and I would like to thank our past president, Lisa Carr, and Sandra, who were working diligently on the document. We sent it to our attorney at law, who also reviewed it and gave us a thumbs up that it was ready to go to membership. So last month, our staff sent it to all the members for if there was any objections. Fortunately, we did not receive any. So I would like to here tender that we accept the Articles of Association as it has been presented to membership. If there is any question, Kevin, on that, like I said, we have not received any. So we'll go ahead and ask the board to accept. And it's, I have no no's in the room. So it is accepted as presented to membership. Thanks.
Part of the business of the association. So the new Articles of Association will be active as we dissolve this board and as we move to the next stage of the life of the Hotel Association. So I encourage you, it will be posted on the webpage. Members who are on the listing, which you all are, have received a copy. And the next move, I think, is for us to work on the bylaws, right? So thank you for that. And at this time, we have a special video presentation. Okay, we're not going to do that. So we're going to move to the next item. And ladies and gentlemen, as part of the the proceeds, the rules and regulations. At this time, we are going to call for the board to be officially dissolved, and that is going to be done by the president as per the constitution and as per the articles of association. The president will remain the chairman of this meeting and will preside over the proceedings until we move through to the next stage, which is going to be the appointment of the new board of directors. So at this point, I call on President Tejada to dissolve the board.
Thank you once again, Kevin. By the powers vested in me as the president of the Belize Hotel Association, I here declare this board dissolved. My heartfelt thanks to all of you for your service over the last year. So you're no longer the board of the BHA. Just want to make it clear.
And so we say goodbye. Goodbye, 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 board. Thank you for serving us. And I would like to give you a round of applause on behalf of all the membership. You have done well. We have seen you a lot, and we know that you have had challenging times, but you pulled through. This moves us to the next item, which is going to be the appointment of the new board of directors. We sent out the other day a call for persons who would wish to be on the board, and this is a volunteer board. This is a board that you have to put in a lot of time. Unfortunately, we have not received any individuals, and the individuals who are going to be presenting themselves for the new board of directors 2020-2021 is going to be the following, and they're no stranger to you. The immediate past president will remain Lisa Carr Caceres. And I present to you the other individuals who will comprise of the board of directors. Alina Saldiva, Roani Badillo, Sherry Constantino, Doug Thompson, Sandra Van Noord, Barry Snowden, Stephanie Elena, Rudy Gonzalez, Anushka Brandel, Barbara Hall, and Ted Tejada. As you notice, this is going to be an endorsement. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your new board. This is an endorsement. I think where Donald Trump is, he's probably saying, why couldn't I do that? He's still waiting, right? You are elected. So, Donald, pay keen attention. You will notice that I did not say who is president and who is vice president. The new Articles of Association dictates and says that the board is going to select the executive. And so you will get that information very shortly as the board will commence their first meeting. At this time, I would like to ask the members of the board to stand. And for those of you at home, I know, Anushka, you are not hearing us because you have blackout there, but I imagine you are standing. So raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name. do solemnly swear today that I shall serve the BHA to the best of my abilities in assisting the BHA with achieving its goals and objectives. Thank you very much. You may sit, and congratulations. Congratulations to them. And we are going to move on now to the next item. Do you have something? And so let me call the president. Not the president, the past president, probably the president-elect soon again. He has a couple of words that he wants to say.
Thank you once again, Kevin. Again, we cannot be thankful enough to our members who, through these difficult times, have stuck with the BHA. Up to date, we can say that out of last year, we have 90% of our members who have paid their memberships, who have returned and continue being members of BHA, and we are grateful to you. One of the items that has happened is over the past years, we know that the Belize Tourism Board has always been a strong partner with BHA, but due to the pandemic, and we understand that funds were no longer being received, and that had to be removed or suspended, I would say, for now. We've had some partners within our community that have come forth and have pledged to be platinum sponsors of the Belize Hotel Association for the first time. And we want to recognize them today. Our first platinum sponsor is Digi. So we wanted to give Digi an award. Due to social distance and the protocols that the country has, we did not have a representative to come and receive the award. But we want to publicly thank Digi, the board of directors, the CEO, for having faith in the Belize Tourism and the Belize Hotel Association and being part of the sponsor. The other partner that came on board this year, actually I received a call yesterday stating that they will be patronizing and sponsoring BHA is Tropic Air, the airline of Belize. Please give them a round of applause. The airline of Belize. Tropic, we cannot be thankful enough for your contribution. I'm going to ask Roani to come forward to receive the award. On behalf of the Belize Hotel Association, we are grateful for your contribution. You have to understand that this money is going straight to marketing. No other way but to marketing. So thank you. And the other partner that also came on board earlier in the year is Atlantic Bank. Atlantic Bank has been a supporter of the Belize Hotel Association for many years. But this year, they have stepped forward and committed to being a platinum sponsor of the Belize Hotel Association. And we couldn't have been more grateful for that, knowing that funds had depleted through other means. So once again, this money on behalf of BHA, Rudy, can you receive this for Atlantic Bank, is going straight to marketing. Every penny that is received through our platinum sponsors will be made sure that they are spent in marketing our members. So once again, thank you, Rudy, and please convey this to your management team. And I want to thank all our members that, yes, this has been a difficult year. We are not over. We have some more months to go. But have faith. The Belize Hotel Association is doing everything possible to make sure that we put heads in beds.
Thank you, Ted. And ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end. And for the closing remarks, I would like to call From Kikoka, representative from the hotel in Kikoka Island, Mexico, Alina Saldiva for the closing remarks.
In closing today, I say thank you to our members for their trust in the Belize Hotel Association. Your dedication in the survival of the tourism industry in Belize with COVID-19 has fueled us to be more supportive than ever of you to ensure that the Belize product comes back strong. We are very proud to represent prestigious properties in Belize, and we close this meeting today reiterating to you and prospective members that we are very conscious of our responsibility to you and to being one of the most influential marketing arms for tourism in Belize. Although these are difficult times, we have taken on a prominent role before the international traveling market, marketing Belize and our members progressively. I would therefore like to reaffirm to my fellow BHA members that with your continued support and the support from my colleagues on BHA's board, we commit to working hard in order for BHA to fulfill this primary mission. Tourism survival is a topic of global interest now, and BHA is going to make sure that we are on that train. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ms. Saldiva. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the end. I would like to thank you for tuning in. I would like to thank you for supporting the Hotel Association. For our American friends, I'd like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And on behalf of the Hotel Association, for all Belizeans and everybody around the world, have a happy holidays and happy Christmas birthday if you have one. Goodbye and thank you.